Welcome everybody back to Friar Talk. Today we're going live after a very, very rough series. One where the Padres once again could not hit with runners on, even though, in today's game, I'll be honest, they were hitting the ball hard. Like the whole game I'm watching and just getting very frustrated because I felt like there were good at bats. I felt like there was a lot of hard contact, yet they finished the game with 3 runs. Bullpen blows the game, but basically Brent Honeywell. He's been struggling a little bit lately, but he ends up blowing the game, and they don't produce. They don't score. And then for the second consecutive game, the heart of the order comes up in the 8th inning, and they do not get it done. Now, I want to say, was it last game that they tied it, and they didn't, but they didn't get an extra run? This game, bases loaded. You end up going to Trent Grisham. He strikes out. It was a very, very frustrating last 2 games. So I've already looked into the comments before we even started the stream, and I don't think I saw anything positive, not one thing. But I get it. I get why everyone's feeling that way. So Chase Isaac, before I go to you guys, I want to share a quick video. I'm sure that most people have seen this. However, at least from my perspective, this is how I feel about the Padres team right now. I feel like it's a perfect representation of what I'm feeling like. So this is what Bob Melvin had to say.
Got to perform better. That's what we have to do. So yeah, we hit some balls hard today, but we put way too much pressure on our pitching late in the game, and we have guys that can perform better. And we're going to, but it's time to quit just talking about it. It's time to go out there and do it. So another frustrating game for us. Underperformed.
How does that happen? How to go out and perform better? Like, is it just a matter of literally doing it, like you just said?
You just got to fight a little harder and expect a little bit more of ourselves, all of us, myself included. So we have not done that to this point. These stretches happen, but it's going on too long. We got to break through here at some point.
So yeah, Bob basically says like exactly what everyone else is saying. Like, he just sounds very like, okay, we know this team is talented. We know who's in this lineup, and basically we're not producing enough. So I don't know. Are you guys kind of feeling the same way? At least that I am, because I feel like that perfectly represents how I feel. I don't feel like this team isn't good. I don't feel like this team is overrated or anything like that. It just feels like they are in a bad spot, and everyone knows what the problem is that they are not hitting with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, you could also see it on Bomo's face. There was like a sense of frustration. Like they were hitting some balls hard. I know yesterday they were hitting some balls hard too. I remember, I think it was AJ Cassavell tweeted. He was like, "Yeah, poor Cronenworth got doubled up twice on 2 hard hit balls, and there was nothing he can do. It was just hit. One of them was a straight line drive to the first baseman. I think it was like at 104 miles an hour off the bat. Hit the ball hard just to someone. At the end of the day, there is some luck element to, or unluckiness to the Padres right now, but they keep swinging the bats like they do and keep getting hard contact. Balls will eventually start to land where, it's going to go for extra base hits, go for home runs. However, that's not for every single Padres hitter. Trent Grisham, I think, went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts today. You're not going to win many games when your 6th batter is striking out 3 times with people on. It's just not going to happen. We've seen. I know Isaac sent us a tweet in our group chat earlier about all the batting averages with runners in scoring position, and I think we had 2 hitters with above a 280 average. The rest of them were maybe one was 201, and then the rest of them were 180s and below. When you can't hit your body weight in average with runners in scoring position, you are going to lose. Yeah, here we go. Nelson Cruz, phenomenal. Manny Machado, great. Carpenter, it's just not working. You have Kim not even hitting a buck. Come on. We got to do something. You can't hit a sac fly with a guy on third. You're going to get doubled up, or, you just strike out down the middle of the plate looking. I don't know how many times we've seen Grisham do that, or he just simply flat out misses the ball. Nola doesn't have any power. Kim, when he hits, he hits. He's one of those guys where sometimes he hits the ball hard and goes to somewhere, or sometimes, he just chases. Cronenworth has kind of had a disappointing year so far for the contract that he's extended. Juan Soto has been hitting the hell out of the ball more recently. He's on a hot streak, so I'm not going to bash him too much. His past 9 games, he's hitting 350 or something like that with a 900 OPS. He's doing that. Xander's in a slump. He's gone MIA since Tatis has gotten back. It's just, okay, now we have the full team back and no one is firing at all cylinders at the same time. It's one guy carrying the entire offense for I don't know how many weeks now. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. The team is just not clicking together. There's been few bright spots, but when your pitching has been as good as it's been, I remember seeing a graphic yesterday after the Padres game. I think it was on ESPN. It was from April 11th to now, who has had the best starting ERA in all of baseball, and it's been the Padres. It was, I think, a 2.11 or 2.12 ERA, and I don't know how many games we've lost with the best ERA from our starting pitchers for the past month, because our bats or bullpen blows it.
Yeah, Chase, you went off there, man, and you were absolutely accurate about pretty much all of it. So, no, I completely agree. I understand why people are frustrated. It's a frustrating start to the season. We know we're at 500 right now. We're about to go into this Dodger series, 4 games back, and this is obviously the biggest series up to this point, because you lose the series, you're now 5 games back. You win the series, you're 3 games back. Michael Wacha is on the bump for one of those games, so that's very scary. But for them, you're not looking at anything easy. You're looking at Julio Urias, Dustin May, and Tony Gonsolin. Dustin May is disgusting. Julio Urias is disgusting. Tony Gonsolin is disgusting. All these guys are really good. The problem with the Padres is that through the first 6 innings, they are one of the worst teams. They're probably bottom 10 in runs for the first 6 innings per game. That tells me they're not having a lot of success against starters. Now, against the bullpen, they're not that much better. They're only about 15th. But the problem is they're not getting – I feel like they're getting starters out of games, but they're having difficulty putting up runs on the board early. And statistically, when teams who score first win over 60% of the time, pretty close to 70. So when you're already digging yourself in a hole through the first 6 innings, you're setting yourself up horribly for the next. And that's been the Padres' main problem up to this point, I believe, is that they're not able to put up runs not only throughout the game, but early on in the game. Because, early on in the game, you set the tone for the rest of the game. And, just pulling up some of the Padres' stats up to this point as a team, you look at it, they're 27th in batting average. Obviously, that's not what you expect when you have guys like Fernando Tatis, Juan Soto, all these guys. They're 25th in runs per game, 27th in hits per game, 16th in home runs per game, 25th in RBIs per game, 19th in strikeouts. They're just not getting the job done. You go a little lower when it comes to the other statistics. Slugging percentage, they're 18th, not that bad. On base percentage, middle of the pack. OPS, middle of the pack. Batting average on balls in play, 24th. I don't like that. I don't think that's very good. And when you combine that they're not really slugging and that the balls in play really aren't going down, that's kind of a recipe for disaster, if you ask me, because they really need – I feel like this team has a lot more potential to slug, but they're just not doing it. Home run percentage, 16th. Strikeout percentage, 21st. They're walking a lot, but, the results really aren't there right now. And like Chase mentioned, the starting pitching is really doing great. They've been phenomenal. They've been giving quality start after quality start after quality start. But it's not like 2021 or anything where you got to look at, oh well, the lineup's okay, but the pitching's not doing very good, or anything like that. It's right now it's solely on the hitters right now. They're not doing the job. This is not the type of team that should be around the Nationals and those other teams that are down below in the runs per game ranking. they're with some bad company. They're not with the company that they should be around. They should be around the top 5, because I look at the top 5 in runs per game, and I think there's maybe one lineup that's better than the Padres, and that's the Braves. And I don't know what's going on with them, but it's got to be figured out soon, because I know it's 38 games. It's still early, but I don't know. I'm starting to panic a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone is, and that's why I put on the thumbnail, like, is it time to get worried? Like, is it time to kind of start freaking out a little bit? And I don't think, like, because, like, I still feel like this team's going to bounce back, but also, what does that mean? What does bouncing back mean when you are so far down, like, the list on so many charts? Like, if the Padres, okay, say I told you before the season started that the Padres finish as a middle offense, you'd be like, that is so disappointing, right? Like, you guys would both be like, dang, like, really? We're not top 5? We're not top 3? Because that's the expectations. Now, at this point, if they had a middle tiered offense, what's the record right now? 10 games over 500, 12 games over 500, because of how good the pitching's been. So, like, it's almost like two sides, because heading into the season, you knew after spring training, you knew that you were going to have a good lineup. That was the expectation. You're going to have a really good lineup. Tatis is going to come back in a couple weeks, and then it's going to be great, right? But there's all these question marks pitching-wise, because Musgrove's hurt. Blake Snell sucks early on in the season. Darvish was missing a couple starts. And then you have Waka, Martinez, Weathers, Lugo, all these guys that you kind of have question marks. And Waka's been, like, the worst one, but, like, even he's pitched pretty decently lately. And so, like, you're looking at the pitching rotation, and no one has questions about the pitching rotation anymore. It's almost you have too much depth there, like, you're too good there. But then you look at the lineup, and I see people talking about this in the lineup, like 6 through 9 or 7 through 9 most of the time are just like automatic outs. And Odor today did hit a home run, which I thought was funny, because I posted a picture of him punching Bautista in the face and said, "We ride," as a joke. And then he hit a home run. I was like, dude, no way. This dude's hitting like 100 right now. So that was nice. But, like, outside of that, like, we know what Austin Nola brings to the plate. I don't know if you guys saw earlier in the chat, but people were discussing how many rotten banana peels Austin Nola was worth, which may be kind of harsh, but, like, also hilarious at the same time. And I feel like every single person that's a Padre fan at this point is just, like, tired of watching Austin Nola. Like I said, I feel bad for the guy, but, like, as a player, obviously he's not cutting it. So with Nola, you're hoping you get Campy back. That's basically what you're hoping. And if not, and if Campy's not that good, then you have to trade for someone. There's not a lot of good catchers. You have to trade for someone competent behind the dish. Like, you just have to. There's nothing else. Outside of that, though, like, what do you guys think? What do you guys think on the core? It seems like Machado got robbed twice today. It seems like he's coming around. Soto is 100% coming around. Fernando's been hitting the ball good. Xander's been struggling. I'm not worried about Xander. Like, he's going to bounce back. How long has Xander been in the league? Like 7 years? We know what he is. He's going to be a good hitter. He's not going to hit for a ton of power. He's going through a slump, but still overall his numbers this year aren't bad or anything. But it's the overall offense not hitting with guys on. That is my biggest issue, and that's going to continue to be the biggest issue until that gets resolved. And I feel like now it's almost becoming kind of like the snowball effect of, like, there's so much pressure every single time someone is getting on. And so that's the part that's scary. But I don't know, in terms of, like, bouncing back and stuff like that, like, where is your confidence level, and, like, what do you want to see? Like, what are, like, specifics that you want to see from this overall lineup?
More gap to gap hitting. I mean, like, if we could just hit gap to gap and, like, maybe, a few home runs here and there, we would be scoring so many runs. I remember, like, one of the starts of the games last week, it was Tatis doubled, Machado doubled, and then Bogarts doubled. That is, like, the perfect recipe to just keep runs going. Because if you just get, like, 2 guys to get a double and the guy on second's fast enough, a single's going to score him. And then you still have more guys on base, and it's just passing the baton on to the next guy. The only reason we scored a run in extra innings yesterday was because of a sacrifice bunt. Hey, if the guys can't hit them in, like, I didn't think the Padres were going to have to rely on small ball this year to score runs, but if that's what it's come to, you got to play small ball until the bats are right. Be more aggressive on the base pass. Send, Tatis on let him steal as many bags as he wants. Send Grisham, or maybe even hell, if Machado's on first, give him a chance at stealing bags. He's pretty decent at it from what we saw. Every time we keep seeing, wow, Machado's taking off. He's probably going to get thrown up. No, he's safe majority of the time. And the new rules are in runners' favors. You should be taking advantage of that. You guys have some fast guys on them that can run. Take advantage of it. If we can't hit them into scoring position, get them there by either, sacrifice bunts or just flat out being aggressive on the base pass. I mean, the lowest expectation from this lineup that we should have is a top 10 offense in the MLB. Not what we have right now. They should at least be a top 10. Realistically, top 8. If they're anything below that, then it's a disappointing year.
Yeah, and I mean, just based off the sample size right now, it's a disappointment. Fernando's obviously having a good start to the season. Not the OPS at the plate that we'd expect, because that's so crazy to say. It sounds like I'm making him sound bad, but he's been phenomenal. But normally he's above a 900 OPS, and that's insane to hold him to that standard. But that's normally what he is, and I mean, he's this good right now. What's he gonna do when he really catches fire and goes on that kind of Fernando little week-long streak where he's clubbing home runs, hitting doubles, hitting a bunch of guys in? Juan Soto, ever since Fernando's been back, he's got over a 900 OPS. He's hitting like 290. He's been phenomenal as well ever since Fernando's been back. And even when it comes to me, I've been a little, I think I've taken a little for granted how well Juan Soto's been doing ever since Fernando's been back. And it's definitely clouded by the Dodgers series where, he didn't come up in some big situations, but I haven't been looking at how well he's been doing in the other games. So he's been really great. Man, he's turning it around. He's starting to hit the ball harder. His stats are good over the last 7-10 games, whatever it is. He's been pretty good. Really, it's just Xander Bogaerts. And like Matt said, I'm not worried. Everyone's going to go through this kind of slump. Everyone's going to go through multiple slumps throughout the season. But yeah, it's not starting to get late for this team, but it's starting to be worrisome. Because after 38 games, it's like, we can't just keep saying they'll turn it around, they'll get it together, just be patient. We can't keep saying that. And Bob Melvin knows it. I'm sure the players know it as well. And that's a really good thing that they're holding themselves to that standard, because they know how much better they realistically should be. When it comes to runners in scoring position, man, I don't know if the lineup has to change. I don't know what it is, but maybe putting Fernando in the cleanup spot, moving Xander back up to leadoff where he was pretty productive. Maybe that's a solution that we could look to. But Fernando's been pretty good in that leadoff spot as well. So I don't really know what the Padres should do. It's really simple. They gotta slug, man. They gotta slug. They gotta be able to. Timely hitting is basically what got the Padres around last year. Because remember, last year it was a lot of the Padres didn't really have a good offense. Last year they didn't, throughout the first, until we got Soto, and even after Soto, they didn't really have a good offense. But you got a lot of timely hitting, and the pitching was carrying them, and it was a perfect recipe. And we don't have that right now. Pitching is holding up their own, but hitting is not. So that has to turn around, and it has to turn around by tomorrow.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm kind of wondering this. I was thinking about this earlier. Also, a couple things up here. Devin asked about a players only meeting, and I'm not going to lie, bro. Earlier today, I was thinking about this. I was like, man, and this is not serious. I don't take this serious, but I thought in my head, like, man, really time for a Eric Hosmer players only meeting right now, huh? But no, I feel like I agree with what you guys are saying, and I see a lot of people are like everyone knows what the issue is, and Chase, you kind of talked about like running a lot more, dude. I was thinking about it, and I feel like because they're struggling so bad with runners in scoring position, every time a guy's in scoring position, you can feel like the emphasis on that, like, oh, they're not going to bring him in. Like, that's what it just feels like every time a guy's on. However, if they keep stealing bags, because like the last like week, they've completely changed the way that they've used the base paths. Almost every time it's a 3-2 count, they're going and they're stealing a lot more bases. Dude, I don't know what Soto decided that he's just gonna be a speedster all of a sudden because he stole second like a couple days ago and then tried to steal third. He got thrown out, even though he might have got under the tag. And then today he stretched 2 singles and then doubles. So he's actually been like trying to take a lot of extra bases. We see Tatis do that a lot. They've been doing that a lot more. I think that's huge, not only because you're actually adding extra bases, but because you're also just giving yourself more opportunities to break out of a slump. Because that's got to be the mentality right now. Like, let's just keep going at it. Because what else are you gonna do? Like, what everyone knows that the Padres, like, I mean, not everyone Padres associated knows that they're been horrible with runners in scoring position. So all you can do is just start from kind of step like square zero, like square one, and then just kind of start moving it up, start bringing guys in and start building some momentum. So I like the idea of being super aggressive on the base pass just because it's like, dude, like you might as well just play ultra aggressive and try to get as many possible scoring opportunities that you can because eventually you're going to break out of it. Like with that mindset, which I don't know if it's a foolproof plan there, but I do think it helps. But looking at, Soto stealing, I see some questions and stuff here. Soto stealing is hilarious. Yeah, it is pretty funny because he like puts his head down, he like bites his lip and starts like going real hard. What else we got here? People talking about Kim regressing. Also about sending like DFAing Adore and some stuff like that for the bottom of the lineup. I mean, if we're being honest, almost every lineup's bottom of the order sucks. The difference is Austin Nola has been like so atrocious. And if anyone has a rest day, it's like really bad who's coming up. So maybe we can do that next week too. Like just like a couple like different guys that could potentially get called up to replace and just kind of be, into the bench depth, because I think that would actually have a pretty big value for this team. Just because it's like, dude, when you have like automatic outs, like it's rough. And also Kim has regressed really like a lot up to this point too. So that's been something we haven't really been that surprising of. But like the thing is, like if you look at everyone's just basic numbers in like the first like 5 guys in the order, they're not that bad. Like they're really not that bad. That's the part that's crazy. So I feel like it's kind of a runners in scoring position problem, and then also the bottom of the order has just been awful. Like those last 2 spots especially. So I don't know what else we got here. What happened to Campy? He's coming back soon.
I was just gonna bite on the whole Nola Grisham Kim thing that Matt Lee keeps bringing up because he thinks we're ignoring him. I have already been on this podcast and given you guys my rantings about Trent Grisham. I don't know how many times. You guys know how I feel about him. I think he's a below average hitter, a severely below average hitter that can play Gold Glove defense, and that's about it. Kim, I'm a big fan of Kim. When he sees the ball, he hits it pretty hard. He's regressed a lot this year, but it's also still early in the season. But he's also worth 1.5 WAR right now. He is a good player. He may not hit the best, but he provides value on defense. He can run. He is honestly sometimes the heart and soul of this team. When he does something good, the team rallies behind him, and he's just good to have on the field for that reason. Yes, right now, him hitting 229 is not going to cut it. But we have Kim hit 250 with a 775 OPS by the end of the year. He's going to be like a 5 WAR player, if that, just because of how much value he can bring up. No, we're not going to stop chanting Kim. It gets the crowd going, gets the team going, and you want that. You want people chanting those players' names. You want the team to feel supported. You want people to light a fire under the team's ass, and that's what that does. And when Kim succeeds, the team usually succeeds because everybody on the team loves Kim. So, look, I get it. He's struggling, but at the same time, he can be the very heart and soul or the drumbeat that this team needs. The same thing with Tatis. So, yeah, Grisham and Nola, we know what we're going to get for them, but Kim can be the fire that sparks the team at random times when especially the big 4 aren't going. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but hey, he's still a vital part to the team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to tell it like it is. Kim, Grisham, and Nola have been shit at the plate lately. Kim, yeah, Chase, you're absolutely right. I was actually surprised to, look at the Padres total WAR and see he's top 4 or top 3 right now. He's very valuable right now, and I don't know if vibes contribute to that because, I mean, he's got all the vibes, but yeah, I mean, he's been super valuable. Also, second base tends to have pretty high WAR, but he's been crazy valuable, man, and it's hard for me to acknowledge how valuable he's been because of what I see at the plate, but you can't deny the numbers. He's been pretty good. Okay, I completely agree. I have to completely agree because I see Soto getting bashed to no end. And this is what I tell some Padre fans. I say, bro, I feel like I can't say anything about Kim because I feel like I'll get crucified. Like I feel like I'll get destroyed. But I don't hate Kim. I actually really like Ha-Seong Kim. I like Grisham too. But Nola, I fucking hate Austin Nola. I can't do Austin Nola no more, guys. I'm done. So Padres society has progressed past the need for Austin Nola. I'm done with him. I'm done. I can't watch no more, bro. Hitting .087 with runners in scoring position, you're an auto out. Every time he's up, he's an auto out. Like I saw someone say that Nola's just been a scapegoat. Bro, he comes up with like 2 or 3 guys on all the time. And he's hitting .087 with him. 1 hit or 2 hits. We probably got 1 or 2 more wins. It's not that much to ask for. The worst part is that .087, they're just fucking singles. It's like 1 guy comes in. It's 1 guy. It's 1 run. He doesn't clear the bases. He never will be that guy that clears the bases. And it's really, really annoying. When I don't know. I felt like he's not a scapegoat. He sucks. It's that simple. He sucks. He's not just a scapegoat. And it's not just him. I understand that. Grisham has been really bad with runners in scoring position. I believe he's 7th. Ha-Seong Kim has been really bad with runners in scoring position. He's 8th. And lately, yeah, 6 through 9 feels like a auto out whether it's Carpenter or Cruz and Kim, Grisham, Nola. Yeah, they feel like auto outs right now. Kim, I feel like he's gonna turn it around. The unfortunate thing is that there's really no evidence showing he's gonna turn it around. I was looking at his baseball savant the other day, and it's all right. It's all right. It's not as good as last year. Not even close. But I think it's just a simple fix. I think he just needs to catch up to some fastballs. And I feel like he's whiffing a lot more than usual. But I think his whiff percentage is actually not that bad. It's pretty good. So I don't know what's up with him, but maybe it's a velocity thing. Maybe it's he's just not seeing the ball right now. But when he does see the ball, Chase, yeah, you're right, man. He had some stints last year where he looked really good. Trent Grisham, it's so hard because he had a really good start to the season. His OPS actually isn't that bad. But a lot of that is heavily weighted off his start to the season, and now he's bad. Is this the 4 week Trent Grisham and then be bad for like 8? Or is this just the inconsistent Trent Grisham that we know? However, it's not even inconsistent. He was just bad last year. He just sucked. So are we back to 2021, 2020 Trent Grisham? Or are we 2022 where you go hot for 3 weeks and then you suck? There's a lot of questions, man, when it comes to the bottom of the lineup. And unfortunately, those are the guys that come up with runners are on, and we need more production from them.
Yeah, go ahead, Chase.
Just his OPS isn't that bad. It is heavily inflated from the beginning of season. His OPS his OPS from the last 30 games would be sitting at a 668 OPS from the last 30 games. So basically all of last year. Just slightly better, 30 points higher.
That is absolutely correct. That's true. That's the thing, is that his OPS is heavily inflated by the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And yeah, he's been bad. He's been bad ever since.
So what do you guys think about this? Because I don't think I think Grisham still is like somewhat valuable, but he can't, like today. Okay, he was hitting 6 today. That just can never happen. Like you can never do that. That's why I would always get confused when they'd hit him lead off, and it's like, bro, you really want a guy to come up there and go over with 3-4 strikeouts? Like, really? That's what you want? Because you're gonna get that a lot of nights with Trent Grisham. Not every night. And he will randomly like have like this like clutch gene that turns on sometimes, which is sick when it happens. Like when it happened against the Mets in the playoffs, or like every once in a while he'll have a big hit late in the game. But like he's never, at least for me, I was never like buying into this like Grisham's gonna start balling out. Maybe at some point, maybe like a couple years ago, like 2020. But after we saw like 2021 is like, and he started to fall off, it was like, oh, maybe he bounces back, maybe not. And then he didn't. And it was like, okay, we know who he is. If he hits 9, it's not that bad. If he is only hitting 9, right? And you move in the lineup, you take out Nola, and you have Campy starting almost every day. That makes you so much better. Like so much better. Maybe Campy even hit 7, because Campy actually can hit pretty decently. And you move Kim to 8. If you put Kim and Grisham 8, 9, and those are your weak guys in your lineup, that's not the worst thing in the world. That would make such a big difference. But like right now, like here, I'm gonna show you guys just because I have ESPN's like the player stats up right here for all the Padres, and like, dude, like a lot of these guys, like, okay, this is also not updated after today. So Machado went up to 700. If anyone has an issue thinking Machado's not going to bounce back, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Like maybe you haven't been watching the games. Bogarts, he's been struggling. He's still, but this isn't bad. This is decent. Soto's fine. Cronenworth this is where he usually is throughout a season. Kim is not playing well. Grisham, I'll be honest, if Grisham has over a 700 OPS, I'll be happy with that. Tatis will probably get a little bit better. Nelson Cruz, whatever. Matt Carpenter, whatever. You want them to be better than they are, but that's not the worst thing. But here's the problem. 400, 500, 6, 3. Like all these guys that are coming in, and I know this one is Campy, but he doesn't really play that much. He's kind of inconsistent. But like, dude, all these guys that are coming in off the bench, like all your depth pieces are horrible. Like every depth piece on this team has been bad. Besides, I guess, Campy. Like that's kind of it. Like that is the problem. That is definitely the issue there. So like, I don't know, dude. I'm kind of interested. Like, is Aggie coming back? Is anyone coming back? I saw there was a guy in AAA lately that's been like absolutely balling out. I don't know. I saw someone commenting about him earlier. Solely over Nola. I mean, yes, even so. I mean, but Soli's not been good or anything. It's not like he's been like, what is he? He's a 650 I mean, that's a lot better than Nola. He's like 200 points higher than OPS than Nola. But like, that's where I feel like a lot of the problems are rising. And then, of course, like we already talked about it, and we've been talking about it so much. But like runners in scoring position, like no one is hitting with runners in scoring position except for Nelson Cruz and Manny Machado. Those are the only guys hitting over 201 with runners in scoring position, and that's pathetic. That's horrible. I guess that doesn't count Tatis because he hasn't played enough. But like, that's rough. So I don't know. What else are you guys thinking? I see Campy over Bonds with that one in. What else we got?
Oh, I just want to shout out one guy because he actually did really good. Shout out Anderson Espinoza for throwing a gem yesterday. That's all I want to say. I want to see that guy succeed with the Padres so bad.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say. I feel like the struggles of the bottom of the lineup have just kind of been shadowed by the struggles of what used to be the struggles of Juan Soto at one point, the struggles of Xander Bogaerts right now, the struggles of Manny, that we haven't really talked about the bottom of the lineup. Even us, like as a channel, I'll admit, we haven't gone out of our way to talk about the bottom of the lineup and if we expect them to regress positively or negatively. I pulled up the guys that we were talking. I'm not pulling up Austin Nola. I don't need any evidence from Baseball Savant, Fangraphs, nothing to know he sucks. Okay, I need nothing. I'm not pulling them up. Austin Kim and Trent Grisham's who I got. So let's see.
While you pull that up, can we talk about how Brent Honeywell has single-handedly crossed those two?
Okay, that's a good one too, Chase, because Big Brent was really good for the first while, and then these past two, I don't know, man. Like He looks so good. That's the weird thing is he looks so good, but maybe it's one of those things where after the teams get a little bit of film and see his pitches, it just goes to shit.
See, I think what not this game or this was it last night he blew it or was it today? It was today he blew it.
Today.
But the game before that, I think it was against the Dodgers. It was like after he walked and then had the balk, he was just out of it.
Yeah. He looked bad in that game too. Completely agree. But looking at Trent Grisham's baseball savant, it's in my opinion, it's red where you expect it and blue where you expect it. He hits the ball hard when he gets a hold of it. The expected batting average is in the 21st percentile. It's a 224 expected batting average. It's kind of what you expect. As far as OPS, I don't know what to tell you. There's no expected OPS or anything. Expected slugging is in the 70th percentile. He's barreling up a lot of balls right now. He has a really good walk percentage, but this is what we expect him to do. Strike out a lot, whiff a lot, have a low batting average. And I mean, I think that out above average is going to go up, and I do feel like that chase rate might go down. But he doesn't really chase too much, but it's about what I expect. You compare it to, let's see, 2022. It's better. It's a lot better, at least in terms of hitting. The outs above average and everything was fantastic. This 2022 for Trent Grisham actually looks a lot similar to Ha-Seong Kim's current. Is it showing Ha-Seong Kim's? No. Okay, let me pull up Ha-Seong Kim's. Hold on. Give me 1 second. To Ha-Seong Kim's, where you see the outs above averages in the 97th percentile, whiff percentage. I said earlier it felt like he was whiffing a lot, but it doesn't show. He's not whiffing a lot. He's in the 82nd percentile. Chase rate's really low. He's doing good at the plate when it comes to discipline. He's fast. He's getting on a lot when it comes to walking, but this is also what I expect from Ha-Seong Kim. He doesn't really hit the ball hard. He doesn't really hit it for power. Expected batting average is around the same as Trent Grisham's. I feel like that's where they're kind of different. Is one hits for power and the other hits for contact. Trent Grisham's average is going to be lower because he strikes out so much. But I feel like, I don't know, man. I want to look at 2022 and see like he wasn't striking out a lot in 2022. And I feel like that's the major difference between this year's Ha-Seong Kim and last year's Ha-Seong Kim. He did really good when it came to putting the ball in play. And if he's able to fix that up, I think he'll become valuable at the plate again. But yeah, that's kind of the comparisons when it comes to those two. But like I said, as far as what I think, it's blue where you expect it for both of them, and it's red where you expect it for both of them. But I do expect Ha-Seong Kim to maybe put up. I think he's going to strike out less in the near future, hopefully.
He just needs to barrel it up a little bit more. Like if you make some solid contact and just he looks like he has good pitch selection from Baseball Savant. He's walking at a decent rate. He's striking out a little bit more than he did last year. But if he can shorten up his swing and just get straight to the ball and barrel it up, we could see a breakout year from him. It's one of those things where, hey, you know what? Having two assistant hitting coaches is really just going to hurt us more than it's going to help us. Maybe we need an actual hitting coach, maybe an actual hitting staff instead of just one coach or two assistants. But hey, we've talked about that plenty of times too.
That's one that we've harped on for a long time. Yeah, and Corbin, yeah, you blame the organization for that 100 times. Like that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Honeywell. I looked up Honeywell's numbers right now when you guys were talking, and dude, Honeywell has not been very good this year. Like he did well early on because he wasn't allowing runs. In his last 12 outings, he's allowed a hit in 11 of those outings. These are 1 inning stints almost every time. He hasn't really pitched 2 innings after the first. Like he's pitched 2 innings 3 times this year, and 2 of them were in the first 3 games of his season. That's not good. So he's been like struggling a lot, and also like he just constantly has a lot of base runners on. So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of worried. Maybe you put him in kind of in more of like a long reliever role that he started out this year as. I think that bodes a little bit better for him, but like, I don't know. It hasn't looked too good for him. Like even when he's been getting out of jams, like there's still a lot of guys on. So hopefully he's able to turn around. But like he is one of the guys in the bullpen. Tapia has been struggling. I don't think the bullpen. I feel like people are overrating the bullpen because it's not the bullpen. Like if the bullpen comes in and gives you 3 innings and allows 1 run or 2 runs on average. 2 runs on average isn't good, but like, 1 to 2 runs, pretty like whatever, 3-4 innings. That's not that bad. The problem is that the Padres aren't scoring. If they score like 4 runs, they have like an 80% winning percentage or something absurd. So you just need to score more runs. That's really what it comes down to. I don't think anyone on the pitching, like I don't think any of the pitching staff really should take any of the blame. Obviously, you're gonna have some guys that struggle that are like not your best relievers, but like overall, I don't think the bullpen's been that bad. The starters have been insane, and that needs to be reiterated. The starters have been so good, like so much better than we expected, and they have been awesome. But it's gonna come back down to, can you hit with runners in scoring position? Can you bring guys in big moments? And right now, they're not. So I don't know. Anything else you guys got though?
No. On to tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's gonna do it. We are going to be posting a preview tomorrow. If you want to help the channel do anything like that, if we are able to get to 100 reviews on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we'll give away 2 tickets. So if you guys want to, maybe it's a 1-star review. Maybe you don't like us. That's okay too. But I appreciate the 5 stars more. But yeah, if we're able to get there, that helps the channel a ton. So if you guys want to take a couple minutes to do that on either Spotify or Apple, if we're able to hit 100 on either, we'll do 2 ticket giveaway at the end of the month. But I think that's probably going to do it. Hopefully this Dodgers series is coming at a good time, not a bad time, in the sense of coming at a good time of, oh, everything's falling apart, we're struggling, let's flip the switch. Let's do it, do it at Dodger Stadium. Let's just have the offense wake up there. Or it's a bad time where you go and you just get absolutely destroyed. Then it's like, oh, now you're like dug yourself like, 6 feet deeper. So hopefully we see the good side of the Padres. Hopefully the bats start to wake up a little bit. I did feel like there was a lot of hard contact today, and hopefully that leads to some positive stuff. But runners in scoring position, that's going to continue to be the issue until it's not anymore. So we'll keep that monitored, and we'll have a couple episodes next week about maybe some improvements, maybe from a kind of hitting perspective, also kind of who we can change on the roster as well. But yeah, that's going to do it. So we'll see y'all later, but have a great night and go Padres. Hopefully this switches up a little bit here.